Hello everyone, and welcome to Rogue Trader. So we're going to start a new campaign here today. We'll see how it goes. I'm a big fan of the 40K universe, and I know that's at least a small portion of my viewers are as well. For those of you who are unfamiliar, this is supposed to be kind of similar to Baldur's Gate. But we can kind of figure that out as we go here. Let's make a custom character here. I have no idea if there's anything that's actually good or not.
And learn.
But at least it's more fun to do it with a character that you like. You know? I do kind of like the Dread Ironwood. Oh. Okay. Oh man, this just reminds me of Will. Gotta admit, this guy really jumped out at me. Alright. My appearance. I guess the real question is, do we want a 4-head or a 5-head? Let's go with the 5-head. I think it's funnier. You know what? It could be fun to actually go bald and then just have the beard. I'm trying to match my portrait a little bit here. Okay, that's gotta be the one. And then... is there white? Scars. Doesn't look like we have any there. Augmentations.
Lay in the course.
Fit for the Fon Phalanceus annals.
For the Emperor!
Time to reap the spoils of the battle.
Sounds about right.
Engage the
Emperor left the macro cannons. Sing!
We have purified the battlefield of the enemy's taint.
Now we definitely need some kind of augmentations. He's got... missing eyeballs and stuff in a portrait. We should definitely have a socket, but that's not gonna mix well with our current. Anything? Servo jaw? That's better.
Stay faithful, and you will be rewarded.
Okay. So now for the things that are actually going to matter here. On Death Worlds, the planet's beasts and sometimes even the environment itself take aggressive and destructive forms inimical to human life. Whilst exceptionally difficult to colonize, many Death Worlds possess valuable resources that require an outpost or other human presence on the planet's surface to harvest. These harsh environments result in some of the hardiest and most resilient populations in the galaxy. Those tested and found wanting die young. Let's see. So that would give us survival instinct. Trusted weapons. Voidborn are humans birthed in the belly of a void vessel, or aboard an ancient orbital satellite. Those who have lived their lives on void ships become inured to some extent due to the reality-altering process of warp travel and to living in low or zero gravity environments. In many cases, their features are drawn and their skin pallid. They may even have minor deformities or a strangeness to their speech, gait, or general appearance that sets them apart from others, which gives the fortune talent. Hive World. A hive world population is so dense that great swaths of the surface of the world are frequently covered in gargantuan cities, bejeweled with towering spires that pierce the atmosphere. Hive worlds are vital to the welfare of the Imperium and are the beating heart of its economy and war machine. They produce munitions for the Emperor's armies in vast manufactories, mine valuable minerals, and refine fuel for the Imperial Navy. Innumerable regiments of the Astra Militarum are raised from their massive populations as well. So it looks like strength in numbers. Forge World. Forge Worlds are the domain of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Entire planets ceded to the demands of vast macro industries, each is a manufacturing supercomplex of unimaginable capacity and power. Over the millennia, different Forge Worlds have become especially renowned for their philosophies or ways of war. These are often colored by the technologies they specialize in manufacturing. The bulk of a Forge World's population is utilized as a labor force, whilst the fortunate few may be inducted into the ranks of the Adeptus Mechanicus itself. What is that? forged for a purpose. Okay. Good intelligence and toughness, not so good with fellowship. An Imperial world. An Imperial world is one of a million planets united by the belief in the immortal god Emperor. Hailing from hyper-technological societies to grimy feudal populations, the inhabitants of countless worlds offer fealty and devotion to the Master of Humanity and the Imperial Creed espoused by his servants. The designation Imperial World encompasses a vast array of wholly dissimilar worlds that are, nevertheless, part of the Imperium. Features is humanity's finest. No, where is he doing what part? Fortress World. Fortress worlds are planets where the entire populace is immersed in warfare. They constantly train for the day that they may be called upon to defend the Imperium, a charge they solemnly uphold. Fortress worlds are established as bulwarks against the enemy. Every citizen is a soldier, trained to fight from the moment that they can handle a weapon. Perception, willpower, down on fellowship again. What is fellowship? Oh, that's the equivalent to, like, charisma, I guess. Okay, so now for the problem here. What do we really want to do? Death World sounds pretty good. I want to do a Forge World just because I like the mechanics. Oh, what the hell. Okay. Analytics, locomotion. Extra armor, extra MP and dodge. There's a crit chance. Probably dodge. Okay. My abilities. Astra Militarum, commonly known as the Imperial Guard, is the primary fighting force of the Imperium and the first line of defense from the myriad threats that endanger the existence of humanity in the 41st millennium. You've served as one of the commanders of an Astra Militarum regiment, commanding thousands and winning battles in the name of the God Emperor. Commissars of the Officio Prefectus are ruthless officers charged with maintaining the morale, discipline, and fighting spirit of their Astra Militarum regiment. He used to be one of these faithful servants of the God Emperor, a living symbol of Imperium authority, regarded with a mix of fear and awe by their subordinates. The Imperium survives and prospers, in no small part due to the narrowness of its vision, but a rebellious mind and will such as yours could not be so easily constrained. The dark paths of smugglers and renegades that wind beneath the facade of the Imperium society offer a dangerous refuge for those unwilling to bow to the law. Used to be one of these dangerous yet resourceful individuals. The Ecclesiarchy, known formerly as the Adeptus Ministorum, is a vast institution that oversees the galaxy-spanning religion of the Imperium. The Ecclesiarchy's complex hierarchies of cardinals, missionaries, preachers, and zealous laity ensure the prescribed prayers and invocations are made, all the while instructing the masses to guard against heresy and deviancy. You used to be one of these fiery and charismatic individuals concerned with keeping a close watch on your congregation. The Imperial Navy is responsible for the fleets of void ships that assert the dominance of the Imperium amidst the stars and fulfill other duties connected to the void and warp travel. Used to be a Navy officer and a commander of a void ship, hardening in numerous battles and famous for resounding victories. The high nobility of the Imperium are an enormously privileged and powerful elite, a breed apart from the common masses they rule. You grew into adulthood upon a pedestal of affluence and grandeur that towered high above the common masses. You expected their obedience and lived upon the fruits of their toil surrendered to your family in solemn fealty. Oh my good lord. Okay. Psychers are feared and distrusted, but are nevertheless valuable assets to the Imperium. The role of the Adeptus Astrotelepathica is to recruit, identify, and classify those found to possess psychic abilities. The most powerful who somehow survive the rigorous sanctioning rituals are selected to serve on the battlefield. The mind of a sanctioned psyker is steeled against the manifold dangers risked by wielders of warp powers. You were one of those found worthy to serve humanity and have miraculously survived the perils of the war. Note, damaging psyker powers count as weapon attacks, counting towards the normal attack limit per turn, gaining all of the benefits of abilities and talents, increasing the damage of attacks. For example, a soldier using the run and gun ability will be able to use damaging psyker powers twice per turn, and an operative's analyze enemies ability affects the damage of damaging psychic powers. Oh man. I think our character is a psyker, so we should probably go with a psyker, right? Let's do it. Now, sub-psyker. Man, building a character takes forever, eh? Okay. Biomancers specialize in manipulating biological energy and processes with the power of their minds. They are masters of the flesh, learning to shape and influence their own physical forms according to their will, as well as those of their allies and enemies. Diviner. Diviners seek to discern the hidden past of the galaxy, and know the course of events yet to come. These abilities allow diviners to look into the twisting strands of the Immaterium in search of the answers they seek, and sometimes even influence the outcome of fate itself. Pyromancer. A pyromancer is a master of flame, a psyker who is able to create searing infernos out of thin air. Pyromancy is one of the most spectacular and destructive forms of psychic ability, and those who face a pyromancer in combat are often reduced to naught but a pile of charred bones. The Sanctic. Psychers of the Sanctic discipline master their connection to the Golden Throne to support their allies with holy might and save off demons and heretics. And the Telepath. Telepaths use their psychic powers in conjunction with their own minds to delude, control, and destroy the minds of their enemies. I mean, there's some very good ones in here. I will say, Pyromancer stands out to me, because I have often been compared to a Pyromancer myself, based off of, one time I managed to set just a pot of water which I was trying to boil on fire. That was interesting. Okay, a Triumph. Apex of Brilliance. Upon solving the mystery of a powerful, psychically active Xeno artifact, you manage to destroy the creation of countless enemies of humanity. So that would give me lore in Xenos. Illustrious glory. You single-handedly saved a pilgrim ship by stopping a warp breach while traveling through the Immaterium, which would increase persuasion. Feat of greatness. The power of your sorcery crushed a demon of the arch-enemy and drove it back into the warp. +5 coercion. Talent to manipulate other people. Using threats of pressure. Versus good impressions of peacefully convincing others to agree. Or disable traps of Xenos origin. Well, that sounds like the most useful thing, I think. Alright, my darkest hour. Grim portents. You were accused of being possessed by a warp entity and forced into exile, leaving your soul forever scarred. Brand of shame. Your sorcery caused a warp manifestation aboard a void ship, claiming thousands of lives in the end. Shadow of torment. An error during the sanctioned process brought you many hours of agony, which nearly cost you your life. Who's out on lore of the warp. That makes sense. I feel like losing out on... I don't know if I want to kill thousands or be exiled. I feel like losing logic is not very good when you're from a Forge world. Alright, time to choose a class, I guess. So, warrior. Combatants boasting exceptional melee prowess. Capable of dealing high damage in close quarter combat and withstanding heavy amounts of damage. They excel at drawing enemies' attention from less defended allies. So melee, movement and dodge, armor and parry, taunts, soaking damage. Officer. Use willpower and fellowship to improve the combat abilities of their allies, turning them into even greater threats on the battlefield. To get extra turns, single target buffs, rescuing allies, and momentum. Operative uses intelligence and perception to find and exploit weaknesses in the enemy's defense. None can withstand an attack from an operative. Precise single attacks, defense penetration, area debuffs, consistent firing position. Or a soldier. A master of all ranged weapons, quickly able to assume an advantageous position from where they stand ready to rain fire on the enemy. Well trained in a highly diverse range of arms, a soldier is particularly proficient at blasting their targets with burst fire and area weapons. Movement, ranged attacks, cover and dodge, burst fire, and area attacks. Well, I gotta say, I do like the operative. And I think it might work well with our character, because I think intelligence is one of my highest points at the moment. But I guess I could move that around. Master Tactician or Grand Strategist. Because those will be like my level 16 step-ups. What's the difference here? So Master Tactician, using their leadership and combat prowess, Master Tacticians are able to harness the momentum of their party to enhance the combat effectiveness of their allies and themselves. Scale with party success, long-term single target buffs, and momentum versatility. Versus a master of battlefield positioning for themselves and their allies, the Grand Strategist is able to increase the battle effectiveness of their party by designating and strengthening important parts of the battlefield. Battlefield controls, ally buffs, unique utility, and enemy debuffs. Well, fellowship is up, intelligence is up, fellowship and ballistic skill is up. Persuasion and Medicaid is up. Grand Strategist, I think, works better. So we'll go with the operative. Characteristics. Okay. Intelligence we gotta put up. Toughness looks like it's up high enough already. I would like to add some extra points into shooting. And let's round out Fellowship a little bit here. Perception being up is probably another excellent thing to do. Weapon skills, close combat, but we're a psyker, so long range is probably better, I think. Alright, the Void Check. Alright. What design do we want it to look like? Kind of like a pointy nose? Do you want it to be a ram? I do like having the cathedral at the top. The Firestorm. 27,000, 26,000, 25,000. Okay, so we'll go with the Firestorm. What do we want to call it? The Zealot's Revenge. Okay. So here we go. This is Ignatius, apparently. I think that's a great name for a pyro psyker. Half an hour just to build the character.
An excellent place for contemplation. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity.
Truly an awe-inspiring sight.
That is the purpose of all temples to the God Emperor, to inspire awe and reverence. For it is the duty of his servants to persevere in their tireless service until they are presented with the chance to give their very life for the master of humanity. Allow me to introduce myself. Conrad Voigtveer, Master of Whispers, in the employ of Her Ladyship Rogue Trader Theodora von Valencias, at your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before.
My name is Ignatius, and as to avoid any misunderstanding, I am a sanctioned psyker.
I am aware of that fact. It would have been unacceptable negligence to have overlooked such a detail when compiling your profile. Fate bestowed upon you powers of witchcraft, and a duty to use them for the good of the Imperium. Yours is truly an unenviable lot. I will be frank with you. You may forget your past titles, no matter who gave them to you, or what their origins are. From the moment you and the other candidate were brought aboard this void ship, your fate changed. You now serve Lord Captain Theodora von Valencius, and carry the burden of an heir of this house. Henceforth, you share your dynastic name with her ladyship. Bear it with honor.
I assume you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let us address it.
But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord Captain and Master Edelthrad von Valencius are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there.
The Divine watches over us.
Lead on, sir. Some objects to be interacted with, makes sense. You can interact with A. Switch between the bumpers. Bring up the cursor with left stick. Press the back button to interact with the character. See what you can interact with. Okay.
One of the Von Valencius trophy rooms. Perhaps you would like to take a look around after your audience with the Lord Captain.
What's happening? Run! The servitors have gone berserk! Our foes shall be crushed beneath our unyielding might.
MP's movement points. Okay. How do I use my buttons? Analyze an enemy.
And so it shall be done.
And then burn them, I guess.
I will not be deterred.
Anything else I can? No. Okay. And then I should probably back up. Get to some kind of cover.
Actions will speak louder than words.
Whiffed it.
The Emperor commands.
Using magic is
Rejoice
probably
in
the better
service.
option.
Death to the heretics!
What suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan. I'm afraid I must remain here. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor.
Let the faith guide my path to glory.
Wait to find out immediately what the wrong way. Certainly looks like I have.
We shall reclaim what is rightfully ours.
They did say it was just at the end of this corridor, right? Okay, yeah, I just didn't go far enough.
That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide. Practically an admission of heresy.
Then suggest an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation. No worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Ion 6, Edelthrad?
Okay. Edelthrad looks about 30 years old, parchment-like skin stretched over a tightly bundled mass of sinew, implants, and bone. Nervously twitching fingers, face twisted by a slight tic. and the jerky movements are all signs of some illness or defect that has taken over his physical form. Theodora appeared as though they were carved from marble, eternal and indestructible. Head raised high, proud posture, hands clasped casually behind her back. Everything seems to emphasize the difference in status between her and Eldathrad. Behind the two of them, you see two more men. One is a gray-haired officer of impeccable bearing, who is studying the contents of his data slate, and the other is a behemoth bristling with holsters and bardics containing all manner of weapons.
Our second candidate has joined us. Approach and give me your answer. Consider this hypothetical situation. Ion 6. A new world on the fringes of the Coronis expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crew sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure?
Those spirits could well be the natives' names for dangerous aliens. I'd first verify if that is indeed the case, and if the population of Aeon 6 engages in Xeno worship.
Reasonable and prudent. However, chasing after ethereal creatures may prove a rather long and fruitless endeavor.
Apart from Xenos, an untrodden planet might be teeming with myriad horrors that are far more dangerous and difficult to eradicate. I suspect that you are simply unaware of their existence.
We are both servants of the God Emperor and Lady Theodora. Does it become anyone of our status to engage in petty feuds?
Even among his flock, not all are of a piece. I suggest you familiarize yourself with that fact before you are sorely...
Eldathrad, I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me then why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck, instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview.
I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time.
So, why are you here?
I do not know just yet. I hope you will clarify that.
Clarity. A luxury that few of us can afford. There is a reason why I did not explain all the details of the question I posed to you earlier. Beyond the borders of the Imperium, seldom is one granted an opportunity to enjoy information in abundance. This, however, is one such opportunity. My name is Theodora von Valancius Massimo of Scaris. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity. And my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic. The warrant of trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign, and bow death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon. Resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you are one of those with Von Valancius blood in their veins and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes.
I suppose I'm ready to take on this sacred purpose.
Oh yes, you would be, wouldn't you? The question is, am I ready to choose you over the rest? You came aboard hours before the warp jump, and have not yet distinguished yourself in any way. As things currently stand, I have doubts that you are suitable for the role of rogue trader. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. If not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Kunrad Voitvir served me for many years before he made his mistake.
Did I hear you correctly? The Master of Whispers is related to you.
His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name Von Valancius, even if he avoids using it publicly, and as such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, however, is closed to him. Voitvir's performance in his current role is satisfactory. Or it used to be, at least. Naturally,
Does this mean there are others?
some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Edelthrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate.
If you're satisfied with Edelthrad, then what sense is there in having this conversation? Why are you wasting your time on me?
Impatience. I am rather fond of impatient people. They are not as quick to resign themselves to circumstance and more eager to show initiative. Even if I do choose Edelthrad as my successor, I will still require loyal advisors. The skills and knowledge you acquired in your former life may prove invaluable here, in the Coronis Expanse. It says in your profile that you bear the brand of sorcery, albeit sanctioned sorcery that is permitted in the service of the Imperium. I am accustomed to the presence of psychos at my side. More than that, I value their unique abilities highly. Perhaps that is why I am so intrigued by Edelthrad's candidacy. A rogue trader psyker could achieve great things indeed. However, psychers are fragile creatures, and as such I would rather have a replacement standing ready in the event that something happens to Edelthrad.
Feels like a foolish decision to have a psyker standing by for another psyker.
Moreover, your remarkable mental abilities were noted in your profile. If you can find a way to exhibit them in the service of the Von Valancius dynasty, well, so much the better.
Thank you for clarifying. May I ask my questions now?
I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge.
An incident took place on the officer's deck. Some servitors went berserk and attacked the crew.
Is that so? Perhaps the technomats were careless during maintenance. Or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Gellerfield. Or perhaps there is something to all the stories about the ship being possessed after all.
Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread about by uneducated riffraff.
Enough, Abelard. Such hearsay amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. This ship is thousands of years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folks speak of specters dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live.
Where's the ship headed?
The Rykad system, the domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers, and rivals. Besides me, 2 other rogue traders exist in the Coronis Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House von Valancius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor. I set the course for Rykad on the demand that... for a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose for this voyage, but now is not the time.
What are my current responsibilities?
Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that suits you as I did for Edelthrad. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide.
Gracious Lord Captain, surely there are ways I can prove myself a worthy heir?
You can start by not asking questions of this sort. I have no need for sycophants. I will draw my conclusions when an opportunity to prove yourself arises. As for when you will be granted that opportunity, only the God Emperor knows.
I have no further questions.
In that case, I shall head to... Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated.
Good.
The impure cannot escape their fate.
Surrender to the dark powers!
Don't touch me!
My place is at the fore.
Ooh, nice. 2 for 1.
One fewer target.
Break their morale. Die!
Wow. These guys are way stronger than we are.
My ears are ringing.
Such is the will of chaos!
Chaos guides me!
Here. Look for weakness.
And so shall it be done.
And then burn them alive.
Actions will speak louder than words.
And that's all I got.
Your corrupt
Just
way
unbelievers.
has failed you.
I serve the ruinous powers! Ah!
Follow my lead.
Ah!
God. Abelard is quite strong, apparently.
For the glory of the Imperium!
So is Mort.
See my great
That's wrong.
death to the weak!
I can handle this.
Reduce to dust.
Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single whoreson survive. Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst onto the deck, huh? Not bad. I have seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position makes them that much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel.
What are your orders?
Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the Arch-Militant requires aid. And be quick about it.
We are bound by the blood of martyrs.
I think I saw Mark heading off this way.
Thank Providence you are alive and well.
Always on time, eh, Coonrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it.
Yeah, Conrad's definitely evil.
Mort, hold yourself together.
What, did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away.
Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent. The Voxmaster is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report!
I have not yet received word from the Engineering regarding any Gellerfield failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only Voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny.
We must provide immediate assistance to those still on the middle decks. Perhaps then we might stop this wave from spreading.
First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator's sanctum are secure. And I have the means to do both things at once. Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons.
I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on Transitional Deck 18.
Blast it! Master of Whispers, find Edelthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Tlas and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-Militant, with me. I must go to my study. And it appears we might encounter heretics along the way.
If I may, Lord Captain. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Edelthrad back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the House as the esteemed Arch-Militant, and taking into consideration Edelthrad's psychic powers.
Oh no, he's gonna try and execute
Then
me
it's
in the-
settled. Find Edelthrad and bring him here. In whatever state you find him. This elevator leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand?
I hear and obey, Captain.
Then move out! Mort, come.
Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk, and you do not even have proper gear.
I shall make do. Lead the way.
Of course you will. Lady Theodora would never have someone she couldn't rely on as one of her heirs. But that is no longer relevant.
With a pop and a sharp crackle, something hits me in the abdomen. We are consumed by an unbearable, gut-wrenching pain.
Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warren Chamber. And for that, I need him breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful.
Conrad, you two-faced scum. You are the one behind this mayhem.
How perceptive of you. I'll help you with the next insight. I need you here for your blood. You have the option to share it voluntarily, or I will squeeze it out of you myself. We are in the anteroom of the Warren Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel.
Let's use psychic powers against him. Flashes in the dim light, drops of blood appear on your palm. For a brief moment, you feel nauseous, your head spinning, and quiet whispers flood into your mind. More and more sourceless voices echo each other, drowning out your own thoughts, replacing them with a singular urge. Go to the gate, go to the gate, go to the gate. Fight the voice in your head. The voices in your head giggle and mock your desperate outcry. You feel this intruding influence forcing you onto your feet and making you take a step towards the gates, looming in the center of the chamber. Skill tests. Decide whether or not you select an option. Depends on how it goes. Makes sense? Press X to see chances of success. 100% chance of success. Okay. Carefully inspect the design of the gate cogitator. What immediately catches your eye is the strange alloy that was used as material for the machine's components, some of which are unfamiliar to you. You suspect this might be some kind of archaeotech relic. The servitor on the gate begins to move. With the screeching and groaning of metal, it leans forward, closer to you. Its lower jaw opens with a drawn-out shriek, much wider than the jaw of a living human could. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbols on a green background. A whisper runs through your consciousness, insisting, demanding sacrifice. The voices that filled your head after Vogiter wounded you with his blade did not go away. On the contrary, their source coiled itself into a tight knot somewhere in the depths of your mind. Look for anything that could be used as a weapon. You look around in hopes of finding at least something that could work as a weapon. Your search is in vain. The chamber anteroom is completely empty and in perfect working condition. Nary a broken panel or a protruding piece of rebar in sight. Examine the sentinel. The servitor looks noticeably different from the ones you are used to. Its skin covering is stitched together with copper thread, and it has metal hinges in place of the standard joints. It seems that the creators of the Sentinel did everything to ensure that the service life of this unit would be much longer than that of ordinary automations. Place your hand into the Sentinel's maw. The Sentinel's jaws clamp around your hand, puncturing your skin and sinking into your flesh. A few dark drops fall into the servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and the pumps stir into motion. The vid screen of the cogitator flickers. Several long minutes pass. The Sentinel's jaws remain closed, and you are beginning to feel sick. Perhaps if you were to lean against the gate, you could catch your breath. Maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this ever happened.
High levels of caustic humors. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance?
Yes, I do require assistance. Pain shoots through your head and subsides just as quickly. It would seem the entity coiled in your consciousness does not have the ability to do you any real harm.
Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
Well, there is still another way.
Let us walk this path to the end.
Let it be known that by my will and the true words of this document, I appoint this person to be the bearer of the word, to be the paragon of humanity, unbroken by adversity, to walk bravely first into darkness, triumph over nightmares untold, to hold boldly the reins of fate, to walk steadily the road of thorns. Oh my goodness, it's so fast.
Escort the child of the house to safety.
Need to contact someone, preferably Theodora.
Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection.
Voxmaster, restore communication with the Navigator's Sanctum. I am trying to contact the bridge. If anyone can hear me on this frequency, regroup all available forces and head to the upper decks at once. I repeat, regroup all available forces and head...
Communication protocols breached. Signal latency assessment unavailable. Unable to establish two-way connection.
I need a weapon.
Distance from the current location to the nearest arsenal. Initiating situational calculations.
What madness is happening here? Who are you? Who addresses me?
Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel standing by.
Are you the Warrant Sentinel?
Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel designed as a personal escort of the child of the house and a means of communicating with the rogue trader's subjects. Mobile unit standing by.
lead me away from here.
Middle and upper decks. Assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
Notifications telling you current objective. Okay. So, usual stuff.
The Divine watches over us!
Master? Whatever are you doing in the warrant chamber? How did you... Throne preserve me! What is the meaning of this?
Conrad is a traitor. When we parted ways on the officer's deck, he stunned me somehow and brought me here.
What?
He intended to take revenge on Theodora for something, and trying to reach the warrant was somehow part of his plan.
Oh, holy God, Emperor! I presume he is the one responsible for the mutiny. And, Master, I wish to remind you that you are to refer to the Lord Captain as Lady Theodora.
Conrad openly admitted that he is the mastermind behind the mutiny.
Saint's blood! And it is small wonder that the heretics are so well organized. I thought his order to seal the passages between decks was his attempt to stop the attackers from spreading to other levels. But now I see the real reason. It was to stop the enforcers from intervening. At least you are alive, and now safe, Master. Alas, I doubt we can afford to look for a compartment to sit out this disaster. You're in a bad way. I can treat your wounds. I have a Medicaid kit with me. And, for the love of the throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense. Here.
Ooh, a sniper rifle, an armored body glove, and a medkit. Suffered an injury. Cool. This happens when your character receives damage that exceeds 50% of their maximum wounds within 1 round. Injuries reduce resolve. Fresh injury can be healed using a medikit without passing any skill tests. Old injuries can be healed with a medikit, but they require the character administering the treatment to pass a Medicaid skill test to succeed. When they lose all their wounds, they fall unconscious. Wounds of all party members are replenished automatically, but injuries remain. Field Medic feature, Medicaid, or taking the Medicaid skill advancement at least once. Use a Medikit and paddle. A Medicaid skill test determines the number of wounds that will be restored as a result. Abelard can heal your injury, hold left trigger to select them. Press up on and select my character. These are standing right next to me. Okay.
The Emperor protects.
Sometimes you consult the appropriate treatise on Tactica Imperialis.
Let the faith
and weigh
guide
every
my
step.
path to
Sometimes,
glory.
though, you just fire your biggest cannon and save the day. This wound will make a fine scar.
Even in the darkest moments, there is hope.
What advice do you seek?
Heresy grows from idleness.
Alright, there must be an inventory? There we go. Oops. Inventory. Equip. Alright.
That is a noticeable improvement. Now you're prepared for the trials ahead. The lower decks are teeming with heretics instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost. So, apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on. But that is not the worst of it all. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the navigator and the master helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the warp and into real space. I fear that they may have already lost control. We must reach the navigator's sanctum and get a handle on the situation. If we can manage that, some aboard this vessel may yet survive.
I heard one of Theodora's voxcasts.
Lady Theodora's. Which one? The last one I received was about the navigator's sanctum, and that was a good while ago. In any case, let us hope that the Lord Captain is well and safely in charge of the ship's defense. In the meantime, we must do all we can to prevent the ship from veering off course.
How did you find me?
You sent me a Vox message. Specifically, a Voxcast on the officer's frequency, which I had the good fortune to receive. You mean to say you did no such thing?
I think the Warrant Sentinel may have sent that message. It appeared when I opened the chamber.
Warrant Sentinel? The Lord Captain barely ever ventures down to the chamber, and I was at her side only once or twice when she did. And I did not see anything of the sort. The Warrant Chamber is an ancient and rather sacred mechanism that the ship's tech priests treat with the utmost reverence. I assume that whatever it is that you did, you must have activated certain processes and caused the Sentinel to awaken. But then, why did none of it happen when Lady Theodora did the same?
The Navigator's Sanctum. Very well. Will you lead the way?
Absolutely. Let us...
To arms, loyal sons and daughters of the God Emperor! Fight the heresy and corruption that threatens to consume our home, and with all your might, destroy those who have dared!
The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission, not message exchange. Splendid. While the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved. Onward! Run, fools, or fall!
Let the blood flow!
Alright, time to try and grab an advantageous position, it would appear. This is kind of an unfortunate place to be stuck. But, you know what? If I come here to start with, then perhaps I can at least...
Just a minor setback.
Out of my way!
Okay, friendly fire is a thing.
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
Specialized in melee combat. Charge. Closest damage. They have to be a certain distance. They all have to be adjacent to strike and preferably chosen with A. Melee hit attacks hit automatically with no need for a roll. Enemy will try to dodge a parry if they're using a melee weapon of their own. Melee weapons can be used to make area attacks. All creatures in the area will suffer damage unless they succeed on a dodge test. Damage dealt by melee weapons depends on the strength. Okay. Abelard. What's the difference between these two?
I will do my job. You return.
I mean, I'm pretty happy with that cleave. Deflection, recharge.
At your beck and call.
Chaos guides me!
I bring ruin!
Abilities. Okay, that makes sense. So first things first. If I move down to... Okay, get 2 if I come here.
Your end is nigh. Let this be the warning to all who oppose us. I will not be deterred. I've suffered worse.
Attack of opportunity.
Reduced to dust.
Let's do a charge, shall we?
It will be done. I took care of this one.
Chaos guides me!
Can I hit this guy with a thingy thing? Yes, I can.
The Emperor commands our step towards our ultimate victory.
EXP. Right trigger, level up, got it. Okay, new level up. Tech, logic, awareness, Medicaid? Looks like Applier, it's got like a 30 across the branch here. Tech use, let's get that up. Okay.
No suffering will make. I'm at your service.
Athletics. That's terrain. Okay. Negative effects. Or I could pump up Medicaid. Makes more sense.
Know your duty. Look no fear. The Emperor protects.
Looting. Yes, it's just the usual stuff. Got it. Last pistol with one hand. Could be useful. It's all just the same sword. Okay.
We shall reclaim what is rightfully ours.
Cargo manager. I don't want all of them. Okay, split. 5-to-1. These ones can go to cargo. I would like this one to be equipped. If I can. There we go. Okay, so now I'm at least not totally vulnerable here.
We are bound by the blood
The
of
navigator's sanctum is directly along the passageway. I pray to the...
And so, he will enter the halls of the blinded guide and witness the radiance of the final dawn through the cracks and fall victim to a whim of fate.
Master, watch your head. Idira, would it be too much to ask that you phrase your soothsayings plainly for once? That was too close.
Sorry, old man. The voices are so loud I can't even hear myself. They shriek, they sing, they... Oh, Abelard, how they sing!
This is Idira Tlas, personal psyker and diviner of Her Ladyship Theodora von Valencius. Idira?
I'm not drunk, old man. I'm suffering the effects of the warp that is seeping through these walls. I see the ship's fate. To die in the waves of the immaterium, fall under the burning rays of the final dawn. And in the roaring blaze, I see a figure standing. Who is it? I have no answer.
The entity in your consciousness shrinks and crawls in deeper, its claws scraping against the walls of your mind, as if the presence is trying to hide from the seer standing before you. A diviner, are you?
The voices from beyond the threshold whisper to me. Sometimes their murmurs are clear, they grant insight. Sometimes they drive me mad. But I am patient. I know how to listen and discern. But now, with this clamor around me, too many voices, too loud. And you von Valencius, are a sorcerer too, just like the other one. Lady Theodora must have grown so fond of psychers she wants one to replace her.
Officer's frequency. To all who can hear me, those with a weapon in their hands are to gather on the officer's deck at once. I repeat, gather on the officer's deck at once and prepare to launch a counterattack.
That's Edelthrad. Oh, Emperor's Providence. The other heir lives as well. Quickly, we must head to...
Not so fast, old man. If we drown in the warp, Lady Theodora's heirs won't be any good to us. If Edelthrad's like me and hasn't yet surrendered his mind or body to the mercy of the warp, then he can still hold on a little longer without us.
Blast it. You're right. First, we need to deal with what is happening here.
What are you doing here?
The whispers called me. The ones I could make out among all the screams and screeches. Those who are rocking this boat hit us where it hurt. They went after the navigator, our guide through the warp. Other whispers called me to the enginarium, but it was too late. I heard the cry of our master cog. and the silence that followed.
What? You don't mean the Enginseer Prime is...
Said, without a doubt. And the voices wail, heralding countless nightmares, cackling at each soul among the hundreds that are now joining the warp. The shriek from the Navigator's sanctum was louder than the rest. And it's better that we saved the Navigator than some lever puller from a cooling module or a cook from the middle decks.
Well, we know that they'll know who we are because they're a Psyker, which makes sense. But we must see if the Navigator is well.
Oh no. No. Nothing is well about him. Can't you feel the chill crawling on your skin? The eyes watching you? The warp ice has already encased the bulkheads. What follows is calamity. But we're not just going to stand here and take it, are we? The state of things in here suggests there's a Navigator around. Maybe one who's crippled or at death's door, but still kicking. And since our skin hasn't peeled off our faces just yet, his third eye must be closed. At worst, it's a little roughed up. So what are we moping around for? Let's go protect that noble mutant while we're still alive.
Okay, so we have a new member. Okay.
Let us walk this path to the end. Close ranks!
Your Emperor won't save you!
Let's see here. So, I have a sniper rifle, so I should be back here. That's a deer. Here's a Psyker, we'll put you up front. Adelaide, you go up front. 93 further back. Alright. Let's see here.
Will do. On it. But of course.
That's a good way to set this up. Too far away to hit those guys. But
Indeed.
this guy, that's it.
One fewer target. Victory is imminent. Let's make it quick. Death to non-believers. Oh, my ears are ringing.
This character's hologram. What's the expected outcome?
do.
I'm not interested. I've seen worse battles than this in my time.
Oops, that wasn't what I wanted to do.
I took care of this one.
I serve the ruinous powers! I won't suffer this. And so shall it be done. Your corrupt way has failed.
Not this Scryer's job. What is this foreboding? Anything else? What an unfortunate turn of fate.
The creature in the chair appears as if it has become one with its throne. You see pink, parchment-like skin stretched between the seat and the limbs that have too many joints for a normal human being. The navigator is breathing heavily, the air whistling as it exits through the two dark, gill-like slits on its cheeks. The creature's eyes are shut, the two ordinary eyes, as well as the third one that sits in the center of its forehead.
I believe Master Vespider still lives. The servants are dead, but the chamber, thank the Emperor, is still sealed from the warp. Well, we have a chance of leaving this place alive.
Let's address Adira and ask what is wrong with them.
Wounded. Exhausted. Fighting back the endless horrors of the warp that are forcing their way into his head. Pick one.
Your time is short.
You're in need of help. We have to get you to the chair.
Fall to your knees, mortals, and behold the final dawn.
Ah! It came from beyond! His body is not his!
Adira screams is echoed by the silent cries in her head. The unseen creature triumphs at the sight of this navigator succumbing to the paroxysms of corruption.
Its march thunders under the burden of hopes. Unseal your hearts, and I will flood your souls with myriads of words and meanings, each one a portent of salvation within me.
The navigator continues to convulse violently in his seat, shrieking and cackling, but then his fit stops abruptly. His face is drenched in black and crimson. The dark ooze from under his third eyelid has turned from a trickle into a stream, mixed with the blood coming from out of his nose, and there is a purplish swelling around the eye.
Run. Flee from this place while I still have the strength. I can contain the intrusion, but not for long. We must begin the translation. Leave the warp. But it can't be done without the Master Helmsman's help.
Let's address Abelard. The navigator's still alive, but barely so. What do we do now?
The ship can only begin the translation with the assistance of the Master Helmsman, if he is still alive. It is worth a try. We must get to the bridge, but we will need support. Our only option is to fight our way to the officer's deck and join forces with Edelthrad and his people. I believe we will also find Lady Theodora there. She must have heard the call to arms that the servo skull relayed to us earlier.
Vespidas. Good luck. And thank you.
The navigator does not give her a response. Black tears mixed with blood are streaming from under the closed eyelids, and the vox at the base of the chair is bellowing out static interspersed with distant echoes of otherworldly laughter.
Let the faith guide my path to glory.
Did I mention that?
For the Emperor!
Jeez. Oops. Wasn't quite what I had in mind. But maybe we're going where I'm supposed to go anyways.
Ship's as good as ours! It's all over for you!
I shall pity not your enemies. I shall heed not their pleas.
Somebody shoot these...
Shall betray not your tenets, nor stray one step from them. Take not your gaze from me. Leave me not without your grace.
I told you he would protect us.
My God, my light, my Emperor.
The white-haired warrior turns to face you, her dark eyes blazing. The weapon quivers in her hands, and for a brief moment, it seems she is not going to stop and will instead continue eliminating every target she sees, starting with you.
Sister Argenta! Sister Argenta, it is a relief to see you. We require all the forces we can muster.
Your face, it is unfamiliar. Who are you?
Ignatius von Valentius, the Lord Captain's heir.
The hour is dark and daunting. Ship abounds with corruption. The faces of friends are twisted by sneers of heresy. The eyes of comrades ignite with the archenemy's hunger. I will do what I must to halt the advance of the dark forces. But in these dire moments, little can be trusted. So I must know, why are you here?
Sister, I beg of you. Now is not the time for interrogations. The ship is under attack by heretics. We've been betrayed by our esteemed Master of Whispers. Edelthrath the Heir is waiting for our aid, and Lord Captain Theodora is expecting a report on our success. We are here to deal with the situation, so I suggest we all do just that.
I am no traitor, sister. You can be sure of that.
If you speak truthfully, the Emperor will not forsake you. If you are lying, you will not escape his retribution. I cannot wait to rain righteous fire down upon each and every heretic.
What is a warrior of the Adepta Sororitas doing aboard a rogue trader ship? Your orders serve the ecclesiarchy, do they not?
Sister Argenta is a guest of the Lord Captain. And that story deserves its own time and conversation. Under more appropriate circumstances.
Enough idle chatter. I am where I must be, and that will suffice.
We must get to the main hall of the deck.
Through this door. I shall join you, for it is my duty to the God Emperor to destroy this heresy.
We will follow.
For now, we will hold off any heretics who might try to crawl in through the cracks to join the main assault. And we'll take a look at the generators while we're at it. Those villains made a mess of the cables. Oh, I wish we had a Tectomat with us. But we'll see what we can do without one.
Good to hear it. Sister?
Ready. May Terra's light illuminate our path through fire and darkness.
With each step, I forge my destiny among the stars.
New, more efficient weapons for the character. Go into your inventory. Got it. What do we got? Give me some more info, please. Psychic staff could be good. At least melee with that, I guess. The autogun is not quite as good as a sniper, but a well-maintained sniper is. Nice. Although I feel like having the sword might actually be better than the staff right now. Throw an axe in there as an offhand.
Know your duty.
Here we go again.
You'll make a suitable sacrifice.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Attention to detail is the key to success.
You need to be up a little further. Ignatius for the back. Gentia. And Adira. Alright, so Abelard, we will have you charge.
Someone else can do this.
This guy.
Reduced to dust!
And then...
At your beck and call.
little pokey pokey.
It will be done.
I probably should have done that before. Okay, yeah. Full cover reduces by 60%, partial is 35.
Rejoice in service! Actions will speak louder than... Death to the weak!
Missed him. Warrior and a soldier. Burst range weapons. Okay.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury! I'll do it. Strike with prayer.
Nice.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Out of my way! Chaos guides me!
Will do. But of course.
Forewarning here. And let's learn something about one of these new guys coming in.
I'm not so sure.
No line of sight, eh?
On it.
Chaos guides me! Death to non-believers! Ah!
Go Abelard.
I will do my one to a target.
Rejoice in service. I serve the ruinous powers!
Just a minor setback.
None can escape the Emperor's judgment.
That is not my destiny.
So you just use the second string.
Anything else?
Just pop them like that.
Let this be the warning to all who oppose us.
It will be done. I took care of this one. I'd rather not.
And so it shall be done.
Missed it.
Death to the weak!
Reduced to dust!
Blast him. Missed it.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
There is movement in the Empyrean. Was farewell.
Play.
We are bound
My
by the
whisper's
blood of
crazy.
martyrs.
Your seneschal.
Heresy grows from idleness.
Good to me. Her numbers are around. Everything's good.
It won't open. The damned heretics have blocked the door, trembling at the thought of our approach.
A melter charge will help. There's probably one around here somewhere.
Heck yeah, let's take all those.
I have proven myself yet again.
T100, okay.
We shall reclaim what is rightfully ours.
Is there anything up here? Good stuff. Operator gloves. And melter charges. Stuck on a chair. Alright, let's blow this door open.
The duty prevails. The Divine watches over us.
Alright. So let's do a level up here. We'll get everyone leveled up, and then we'll call it a day. Split. Nice. Endure. Oh, incoming damage. Okay, so it reduces incoming damage, reduces temporary bonuses. Gives us weakness now as well. Removes the winded effect. It's bonuses to shooting and moving. Crit chance apparently. Kill counter is not reset between rounds, but you have to kill 3 before you can do it. So with that, we'll save. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this brief introduction to the world of 40K. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.